The Gemara tells us in Shabbos, on Daf Chav Aleph Amud Beis, mitzvah mishetishka hachama asher regel min hashuk. The mitzvah of candlelighting is from Shkias hachama, machlokas rishonim, whether it means the beginning of sunset, that's the Shitas Harambam, or Sof Shkia, which would be Tzeit Techel Chavim, when the stars come out, the opinion of the Mordechai and other Rishonim. And then the Gemara says, Ad shetichel regel min hashuk, until the last person is left in the street. Those people who gathered wood, the Gemara and Rashi explains. So let's just focus on the latter part of the Brisa. You could light ad shetichel regel min hashuk. So what happens if it's past Tichel Regel Min Hashuk? So ideally you have to light between Shkias Hachama, either sunset or nightfall, and there's no one left on the street. And the earlier, closer to Shkias Hachama, the better. How late can one light? So according to the Rambam, once you miss the Zman Hadlaka, once it's past Tichel Regel Min Hashuk, and today it might be a different time. There are people on the street later that we could discuss. But Tichel Regel Min Hashuk is only until the people on the street. And according to the Rambam, once the people leave, once it's past this time period, you can no longer light Chanukah again, as you missed the mitzvah. The Rashba disagrees and says, of course it's preferable to light candles earlier, but if you missed it, light afterwards. As the Mishnah says in Megillah, a mitzvah that's done at night is kosher kol halayla. It's fit the whole night. So, what is the machlokas? What is the dispute here between the Rashba and the Rambam? What is the nekudas hamachlokas? So, the issue seems to be is, can you separate the mitzvah of pursuing Nisa, publicizing the miracle, with the Maisa Hadlaka? That there are two aspects. There's the Maisa, the act of kindling the lights, and then the purpose of the mitzvah is to publicize it. Can you fulfill the mitzvah without the requisite pursuing Nisa? So the Rambam seems to say no. After Tichel Regel Min Hashuk, it seems to be lacking in pursuing Nisa. There's no one on the street. So much so the Rambam writes that even b'diavad it's a no-go even if you do light. So he seems that you can't separate the act of kindling with the mitzvah of publicizing the miracle. And the Rashba seems to disagree. L'chatchila, you do both. You do the Ma'is Hadlaka at the time of the pursuing Nisa, but if you missed it, that's it. Keep on going. You light after Tichel Regel Min Hashuk. This machlok is Rambam, and the Rashba seems to be the suffix in Tosas. Tosas points out that he's not sure. Let's say someone waits to Tichel Regel Min Hashuk, he's mesupik, he's in doubt. I think he says to lie without a bracha. What is the issue? What is the doubt of Tosas? The doubt of Tosas seems to be the machlokas between what's certain to the Rambam and certain to the Rashba. Seems to be a doubt according to Tosas, and Tosas is in doubt whether it's the Maisa Hadlaka is the Iker, or is the pursuing Nisa the Iker. And therefore he writes lie without a bracha. There's an interesting fourth sheet which sounds like a big chiddush, that if you miss Tichel Regel Min Hashuk, you know what you do? You light inside. Go inside the house and light candles. That's what you have to do. Just like we do today. So clearly, the Bali Tosas and other Rishonim disagree with this, because Tosas continues and says, but Bisman Hazeh, that we light inside, so therefore you can light later. So obviously, according to Tosas, it's apparent you were able to light inside Bisman HaGemara. So it seems to be a major machlokas Rishonim on whether Bisman HaGemara you had the possibility of lighting candles inside your home. The Bali Tosas say no, imply no, and the Sefer Truma says a definitive yes. Where do we find any Gemara discussing it. So there's a Gemara later on the same page, Chav Aleph Amud Beis. Mitzvah tells you where to put the candles. It says mitzvah laniach, you put it outside, and if not, if you can't light it outside, but you do, you put it up facing the public place. And then the Gemara says, Uveshas hasakan, in a time of danger, you put it on the table, and that's enough. So the question is, when the Gemara says in a time of danger, you put it on the table, is that a new din? That up until now, the only way to fulfill the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah is lighting outside, and now that we light inside, so now it's okay? Or do I say no? You always are allowed inside. The Gemara is making an observation. Now, because of time of danger, we light inside. But if it wasn't time of danger, you could light inside, but it's always better to light outside because you have more pursuing Nisa. So that sounds like the issue between the Bali Tosas and the Sefer Trumas. The Bali Tosas learned that it was a new din, Shasakana. And the Sefer Trumas says, no, it's just an observation. And in fact, this machlok is Rishonim between the Bali Tosas and the Rashba, that this machlokas between the Bali Tosas and the Rashba really seems to be a machlokas achronim between the Magen Avram and the Vilna Gaon. The Gemara later on, in a couple of pages later, I believe Chav Daled, the Gemara talks about if you only have enough money to do one mitzvah, what should you do? So the Gemara concludes, you do first candle for Shabbos because of Shalom Bayis, then candle for Chanukah if you have two, and then the third one is wine for Kiddush. So that's the order. Candles for Shabbos, candles for Chanukah, then wine for Kiddush. So the Achronim ask, why is the Gemara saying there's a choice? Why don't you do both? Why don't you use the same candle for Chanukah as you do for Shabbos? What do you mean you have to make a choice? They both involve candles. Why can't the candle have a dual purpose? So the Magen Avram answers, I'll tell you why not. Fundamentally, it's a good question, and really you should be able to. But there's one little problem. Last I checked, the Magen Avram writes, Ner Chanukah is done outside, Ner Shabbos is done inside, so it's not possible to have a candle both inside and outside. And therefore the Gemara didn't give that answer, but fundamentally one could fulfill both. And the Vilna Gaon disagrees and says, no, really, you could fulfill the mitzvah inside, even Bisman Gemara. So why didn't the Gemara give that answer? That's for another reason. The Shulchan Aruch writes, the Machaber Gemara tells us, it's also to get benefit from the Neiros Chanukah, counting the money, bizoy mitzvah, it's a bizoy, it's a disgrace. And the Machaber says, afilu tashmishay mitzvah, even if you're going to use the candles for mitzvah purposes, it's also no good. But there's no source in the Gemara, no apparent source. Where did the Machaber get her from? So when the Gaon says he got it from this Gemara, that's why the Gemara didn't suggest lighting one candle for both, because you can't, if it's used for Ner Chanukah, asur l'shtam mishal ora afilu tashmishay mitzvah. So it's two fundamental answers, two technical answers which touch on fundamental issues. According to the Magen Avram, you could light inside Bisman Gemara. Going to Magen Avram, you could not light. Magen Avram goes like the Bali Tosas. There wasn't a possibility to light inside. And the Vilna Gaon goes with the Sefer Trumas that, yeah, you could have, and therefore he comes up to another reason. So in fact, Bisman Hazeh, this really wouldn't be an issue anymore. Because Bisman Hazeh, we have electricity in our homes. And the halacha is, without going into all the details, one is permitted to use electric candles, electric lights, for the mitzvah of Ner Shabbos. However, it's more problematic to be used for Ner Chanukah because it's not similar to the way it was in the Mikdash. Maybe it's lacking a Maisa Adlak, whatever the reasons are. The halach is we don't use electric menorahs for Chanukah, but we can use electric lights for Shabbos. So based on this, it wouldn't be a problem today. You could light Shabbos candle. If you only had one candle, you'd use it for Ner Chanukah. and not near Shabbos, because near Shabbos you could use the electric. And therefore we see, even though it's a classic example of where Rabbi does halacha change, so I say it depends what you mean. The principles don't change, but the practical halacha does. And therefore, Bismana Gemara, where there was no electric, so then you had to make a choice. But Bismana Zeh, that we have electric, so therefore, even though the Gemara says near Shabbos gets it, but in our case, since we have electric, near Channukah will get it. So that's the fundamental machokes, the Magen Avraham versus the Vilna Gaon, the Bali Tosus versus Sefer Chumas, whether Bismana Gemara, one was permitted to light candles inside the diavad, if you missed the time or whatever the issue was. So the Baalei Atosis and the Magen Avraham say no. The Vilna Gaon and Sefer Chumas say yes. And however, everyone agrees when the Gemara says B'shas Sakana, that's when they started doing it inside. Whether there was a fundamental shift on that depends on how you learn it. And Mizman Hazeh, even though it's a separate question we're not getting into, that we're no longer in Shas Sakana, why don't we light outside? There are those who do, but nevertheless the custom, the minhag seems to be, the even Mizman Hazeh, one lights the candles inside, and therefore, even though it's lechatchila to light at the appropriate times, but Hashatecha Regel Mashuk is a much later time, and therefore one can light at a later time as well.